Hey there, and good evening, everybody, on this Wednesday. It is January the 28th, and I'm Chris Allen with your 270 weather. Weather for the 270 area code and beyond. I was just I don't have time usually to go through all the comments here sometimes on the podcast, but also to go through all the comments on all of my social media because it's a lot. I've got Facebook pages, I've got X, I've got Instagram, I've got TikTok, I've got I don't what else is there? Oh, LinkedIn, and I've got a lot of this stuff, and I don't mind doing it. It's just I feel like sometimes I'm doing a disservice by not going through and being able to respond to everything like I would like to. But today I was going through and I was just noticing a lot of comments, and I came across one. It was like it was one of those disparaging comments that was kind of like you guys said it was going to be this winter storm was going to be this much and this big and you guys just you missed it. You were awfully off the mark. And I thought about it and I thought, boy, I could really just fire shots from my keyboard, so to speak. And I thought, you know what? No, no, it's okay. I'm just gonna let it be. But I got to thinking, what if, I mean, look around with all the ice and the snow that we have, and the terrible ice storm that has affected parts of southern Kentucky and not just Tennessee and Mississippi. Of course, they got it the worst. They got it much worse than us. I mean, it's devastating. It may be weeks before some of those folks even get power back on. So I'm thinking this guy, I'm thinking, what does he want? Would he want this to be much worse than what it is? I mean, I would look at a situation like this and think, "Phew, boy, we dodged that bullet, you know, because it didn't turn out to be as big as he said that we said it was going to be." And first and foremost here, most of you, my audience, knows what we mean when we do a forecast. It's never set in stone and it's always going to flex and move and change. But this guy was like, you guys never get it right. And I'm thinking, well, we got off pretty easy compared to other places. Would you want us to have it worse? Is that what you're wanting? Just, it just blows my mind sometimes, even after all these years. Oh boy. I know they're out there and it's fine. I know. All right. So, what's going on right now? Well, it's cold. As you can see, high pressure is in control. And we've got clouds that have been with us all day. And there have been actually a few flyby flurries that some of you saw, but it's not a big deal. We still may see a few more of those this evening, but I don't think it's going to amount to anything. Here is the live view from Litchfield. I love these has cams that WeatherWise has provided, and we get to look in there. This is the Grayson County Emergency Management, and there you see the snow on the ground and the ice too. Now Litchfield got a lot more snow than we did here in Bowling Green, so you guys are still dealing with that there in Litchfield. So it looks nice with all that over there. How about Pikeville? Yeah, Pikeville got, this is a live view where it's 23 degrees, and you guys got some snow there all the way over in the eastern part of the state and looking pretty nice there. Let's go up to Metro Louisville. And of course, Louisville got a lot more snow than we did. Current temperature here at just after 6 p.m. is at 22 degrees. Look at that wind, though. The winds have picked up from the northwest at 26 miles per hour. So your winds are coming down pretty good there. Temperature here, 24 degrees. You look back toward Paducah, we go to Gage, Kentucky. And there's the sky as the sun is setting, of course, and some high clouds and temperature at 28. So, yeah, we didn't get very high today. In fact, our official high here at the Bowling Green Airport, 27. 27. That was it today. And that's exactly 20 degrees colder than normal. Normal is 47. And we had a low of 13 this morning. Now, I can tell you this, we're not going to be close to normal temperature, high or low, anytime soon. So if you're looking for that, you're going to be waiting a while. I actually think it's going to be next week sometime before we get into the 40s and start to feel that really nice warm air, or warmer than it is now. But it's coming. It's going to come. We just got to give it a little more time. Now, the thing we're going to have to look at is, are we going to get more snow? Well, the answer is, well, kind of a yes. And I say kind of a yes because I've got to explain what I mean by that. All right, just hang on. I don't want you to get ahead of me here. All right, here's a look at temperatures at the moment from the Kentucky Mesonet Network. And we're looking at 20s, 22 at the Corvette plant, 23 at Western's Ag Expo Center, and some upper teens, even out to the west, places like Campbellsville, and then over toward Greensburg and Columbia, and further east, Russell Springs and Edmonton. And then west of us, temperatures are in the mid and even upper 20s and lower 30s. You go over here to Benton, Kentucky, and Marshall County, and the temperature right now at 6:08 is at 30 degrees. So east of here, it's colder. West of here, it's just a little warmer. Now, how much or how did the temperatures go today? How high, I should say. The maximum temperature here in Bowling Green, according to the Kentucky Mesonet Network, was 25. But 27 was the official high temperature at the airport. How cold did it get for every location today? Single digits. This morning, look at that, 6 was the low temperature at the Corvette plant, but 10 was the coldest temperature at Western's Ag Expo Center. You go down to Scottsville, 11. Then you go up to Butler County and Morgantown, your coldest temperature today, 5. But look at this. Look at this. The coldest temperature today around here, Litchfield, Grayson County, you had a cold temperature of 3. That was your coldest temperature today. Yuck. Yeah. And we had some of that freezing fog this morning. And we could get some of that again tomorrow morning. Just saying. Now, I will tell you, where it warmed up better, back here in western Kentucky, we're showing some of the winds, some of the wind vanes and anemometers that those are the instruments. Wind vanes, of course, tell you the direction of the wind. Anemometers are those 3 little cups. They look like cups that you would put together like, a teaspoon or tablespoon, and you measure with. but they're hooked together and they spin around. That's an anemometer. And so those at the Kentucky mesonet sites have been frozen. Frozen. Especially here, as you can see, in central Kentucky. Look at this. This for the last couple of days, most of these arrows have pointed down straight north from north, and we've not been getting any readings. They all show zero. And that's because when that winter storm came in with that north wind and then froze everything, all those wind vanes and anemometers at those Kentucky mesonet sites have been frozen like this since the winter storm. Until today, we started seeing some of those back to the west of us begin to melt and actually work. So the winds are being have been coming out of the west and southwest today at around 5 to 10. So those are going to start working a little bit more once we get a little more melting. Okay, let's get to the maps here, and we'll go day by day and show you what I mean by the next chance of snow. High pressure is over us right now. That means we are going to have a pretty quiet evening. There's nothing really incoming that is going to touch off anything else but cloud cover and maybe, as some of you saw this afternoon, a few snowflakes. Just fly-by flakes, not a big deal. Little upper-level energy that's out there squeezing those things out. We get these, what they're called, lobes. These little lobes in the upper flow. Just enough little piece of energy to squeeze out a few flurries. Here we go into midnight tonight, and you're starting to see that fog again like we did last night. And here's 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. And as you can see, right over the Bowling Green area, much of the 270, likely to see more of that patchy, dense fog, but it would be freezing fog, what we had this morning. And that could cause additional icy spots, as if we didn't have enough icy spots. I mean, we did get a little melting today with even the sun's radiation through the cloud cover was enough to, start the melting process a little bit more like yesterday than we had some today, which is good. But then everything that melts today and doesn't evaporate, it just refreezes. And then when you add freezing fog on top of that, that's where you can have some really nasty icy spots late tonight and early tomorrow morning because we're below freezing. So here we go into your Thursday. This is midday Thursday. Everything is really quiet. But let me expand the view so you can see further north and west in that same upper flow. Here comes another piece of energy that we're going to watch for Thursday night into Friday morning. Check out this low pressure system over Arkansas. Now, this is going to be an interesting setup in that we've got a couple of areas of low pressure, one South Texas and then one over Arkansas. So we've got the upper flow with upper lows that are going to continue to cross through parts of the upper plains and the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes. And then you have surface lows that are further south. Well, the two of these things are going to try to meet up as we head into, say, Thursday night into Friday and this weekend. And this storm, this southern stream system, has the potential to become something of a big winter storm and eventually maybe even become a nor'easter for the northeastern coast. Yeah, they're already preparing for this. Here we go into Friday. So, southern stream system here throwing moisture northward. And then in the upper flow, the cold is reinforced. And I mean just when you think that we're going to warm up and then we're going to stay warm, here comes another big punch of cold air. And wouldn't you know it, just in time for this southern stream system to pass just to the south of Kentucky, here comes another big shot of cold air. Look at that. Tight gradient. That means it's packing some wind, cold wind. And then these little pieces of energy will slide down east of the Rockies and head our direction and meet up with these systems. So this is going to become one big system this weekend. This is Friday. Now, you're seeing here in Kentucky, say from, well, let's look at I-65 and to the east, the better chance of maybe somebody getting some snow, but not the kind of snow we had over the weekend. It's not going to be this huge winter storm for us. We're going to get just a little touch, if you will, with the systems interacting here. But this is going to be far enough south to where it's going to, yes, provide moisture, but it's not going to be so organized and so, shall we say, potent enough for us anyway, here in southern Kentucky, middle Tennessee, to produce a lot of snow. We're talking about a dusting, maybe. Right now, that's the way it looks. We don't have the finer details, of course, as this just reset. Anyway, here is Friday evening. We still could be looking at some light snow from Bowling Green and along and east of 65. And then once you get into the higher elevations of West Virginia and eastern Kentucky and northeastern Tennessee and parts of the Carolinas, yeah, there could be something there that's a little more potent. As far as measurements or accumulating snow, a couple of inches. But for us, I don't think it's going to be that much of a big deal. But as this system really starts to gather steam and tighten and deepen, then this whole thing becomes a big, big deal. Over the Carolinas, Georgia, even down to Florida, some of that Arctic air is going to make it that far south. And you see the development here. This is going to be really good snow development over the Virginias, especially North Carolina. And then it's going to start affecting the big cities, Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York City, and on and on. So let's go to Saturday. And you can see this is going to start making some headway north, and it starts pulling away from us. So I think any time between Thursday, say, tomorrow's Thursday, so we're talking about tomorrow evening into Friday and a little bit of Saturday, you're going to find these little periods of snow flurries or snow showers here in southern Kentucky. Enough perhaps for a dusting. Some maybe get up to an inch on top of what you still have on the ground. And of course, that's going to make for more slick roads because we're not going to get all that warm. And then we're going to get this second shot of Arctic air, which is going to keep us cold for the weekend. Here is Sunday, the first day of February, and look at this thing just becoming a monster. But the good news is it's way offshore. It goes down to 980 millibar, but look at the strength of this thing. I mean, it goes from, here it is, Saturday morning, and you think, okay, well, 1008 millibar doesn't look all that nasty. But then you go 24 hours later, and look at that, it's boom. So this is going to really explode and cause some very heavy snow along the mid-Atlantic coast and into New England. This is on Sunday. Sunday, we're quiet here in southern Kentucky, but look at this. Look at this. Here comes another piece of energy in the upper flow just off to our northwest. This is Monday, and oh, whew, dodge that bullet because look, there's high pressure, and the air will be at this point too dry to really support snow. So we'll dodge that bullet, which is, I'm grateful. I don't think we need any more. Here comes another little clipper system that's going to try to make a run at us from Monday into Tuesday, but it too falls apart because of the strength of high pressure. And finally, I think Tuesday into Wednesday of next week, we're going to begin to warm up. In fact, look at this. This is next Wednesday, a week from today. Yes, here comes another system. Yes, there is snow with it up top. But look at us. Rain. What? Rain? For real? Rain. What's rain? I don't remember. Do you remember what rain is? It's been so long that I don't remember what rain looks like or feels like or looks like on a map. No, next Wednesday, yeah. Warm enough for rain. We shall see. Let's go to the trusted European model and go through that same timestamp and see if we can see something a little different than what we just saw. So here's the current scenario with the deep cold air and these little lobes of moisture that just little pieces here and there that try to make a run at us. You see one, there's one right there. Tries to sneak in here with it's not anything big deal. So this is Friday morning. We've already gone past Thursday. Here's a little piece right here. Here's another one coming down in the upper flow right here. And that's how they flow. They just come in and they just kind of follow the lines pretty nicely with that big upper flow and big high pressure, big cold Arctic high pressure. 1,047 millibar. That's a honker. So the upper flow, pretty active with these little bursts of light snow. I don't think it's ever going to be too much of an organized thing until the system down south gets a little more organized. Now, where is it? Where is that flow? Where is that low? Well, it's down south, starting to tap into all this moisture. So let's go into this is Saturday. Look at how deep that trough. Wow. So now you can see how there's a surface low offshore, and then there's the deeper low pressure system, the two upper low and surface low working together to throw that moisture back into the cold air. And that's where you're going to start to see the nasty weather. For us, it'll be cold, yes, and some of that moisture may try to work its way back into Kentucky. But I don't think it's going to be able to do too much. So we're going to dodge that bullet as well. In other words, we're not going to get another winter storm, but boy, are these folks. Woo! That's going to be a huge system. And like I said, it could become a nor'easter once it goes further north. But then, look at this. Here comes another low pressure system, another nice little clipper. And guess where it's going? Yep, it's going to head south as we head into the weekend. This is Sunday. And here it comes. It's going to try. It's going to try. But, wait. It falls apart. What? Just like I just showed you, this big area of high pressure is going to cause at least this one to begin to fall apart. Now, there may be pieces of it that try to work in as we head into Monday or Tuesday next week. But then the warmer air starts to move in too. And with that, we're going to see a little bit of a change. And here comes our next system with better chances of rain instead of snow. Now, the European model hedges a little bit on how soon it's going to warm up and rain. The map I showed you before with some of the blended models, it kind of holds up that thought that we could get by next Wednesday rain, warm enough for rain. But the European right now isn't too keen on it yet. So we have what we call model divergence. In other words, they're doing this. They're in disagreement as to how that's going to play out. So this is going to be one of those things we'll just have to wait and see. All right, here we go with the numbers, the blender model, the model blender. Next 10 days, 30s, 20s, 30s, 40s. And then lows, teens, 20s, single digit. That's going to be Saturday night. That's that next big shot of cold air as that storm system is off the southeast coast. And then lows go back to the teens and 20s. But look at all those 40s next week. First week of February, we go into the 40s. Now, again, the normal high temperature for this time of the year is 47. We'll come close, but we're not going to get exactly as close as we would like to. Yeah, that's the thing. Okay, I had another graphic here. Where'd it go? Oh, I got to. Ooh, sorry about that. Anyway, there's your little ticker down at the bottom with you guys and all the stuff that you're saying right now. Let's see here. Move over to count. You're blocking what you're talking about and showing us. I'm sorry, Gary. Okay. Golly, you guys are picky. Picky. Why y'all so picky? Wait a minute. Let me do this. Let me get everything out of the way. How about that? Now I can do it this way. Janet, the rain will help melt the snow. Yes, it will. Tina, we are in that bubble. Glad no snow. Are you a bubble believer? Oh my goodness. The bubble believers. I have trouble with you bubble believers. There is no bubble. We do live in a bowl. Okay, but it's not really a bubble. Sometimes that bowl where we sit, the Cumberland Plateau, and how things are just around Bowling Green, around southern Kentucky, does sometimes affect, dry air versus moist air. Sometimes that moist air can't get into the bowl, and sometimes it can cause some changes. But to call it a bubble, it's not a bubble, really. And I don't want you thinking that if we live in a bubble, then we're protected by all kinds of nasty weather like tornadoes and things like that. I just don't want people believing that, because it's not true. I.e., December of 2021. The bubble did not keep us from getting a very bad tornado, two very bad tornadoes, and then another one the following New Year's Day, just a few weeks later. If we were actually in a bubble, then things like that wouldn't happen. So I don't like to call it a bubble, okay? Casey, I'd rather have rain than snow right now. You and me both. Woo. Yes. Enough of this. Patricia, and here's an issue that a lot of you have. Supposed to be above freezing tomorrow so I can unthaw my driveway. Well, 32 to 34-ish, maybe. It'll if we get, enough sun tomorrow, then yes. Hopefully it'll help. Okay, like the last few days have helped a little when we've gotten a little bit of sun that has broken through, but that's about it. So here's Ellen watching you a little early tonight. Well, I'm on a little early tonight. Deborah watching from Scottsville. Thank you, Deborah. Here's Brittany. No more ice, please. Done with the ice. You know, me too. It's just nasty. Like even where I live, you can't get rid of it. You can't. It's just there, and it's like it's just hard as a rock. And then where they've scraped the road or piled stuff at the end of your driveway or in the middle turn lane, where they piled it all up, and then you drive over it and it's like, and it's, it's like, and then, where people have gone over it so many times, it's now all the snow is off of it and now it's just slick ice. And it's like your car just wants to steer itself wherever the crevices in the road are in the ice, and then it's just like this is how you lose control of your vehicle when it's like this. Here is Chris. Took 3 days to get our car out of the ice. I believe it. I believe that. Sheila's saying, what about the system coming in? That's what I was just talking about. It is not going to be a winter storm for us in the 270. It's going to be much further south and east. We're talking about the Virginias, the Carolinas, Georgia, maybe even as far south as Florida. At least now the cold air is going to go far, far south into the Gulf, including Florida. Whether the snow makes it there or not is the big question. It would all depend on the ultimate track, but Virginia's, Carolinas, Georgia, definitely big snows there. And then eastern Kentucky, eastern Tennessee will get some of the backlash snow, and we may get a taste, but I don't think we're going to get anything as serious or as paralyzing, I guess, as what we had over the weekend. Ice storm stuff, that's not going to happen. This is going to be all snow. Yeah. Here is Deborah in Central City. Glad for your help to prepare before the storm, even though some didn't listen. It really helped. Oh, Deborah, thank you. That's the kind of feedback I like, because it really means a lot to me to hear somebody say, we paid attention to what you were saying about prepping for the storm. No matter how much we get or don't get, really doesn't matter. What matters is, are you prepared for whatever comes? And I was saying, if you'll go, you can go back on Facebook and you can go back and find some of these podcasts that I was doing just before the storm hit. And yes, I did say, 6 to 8 inches of snow or whatever, but I also said there was going to be some ice and to prepare for power outages. And it looked like the best ice was going to set up south of Nashville through Mississippi and south. And that's exactly what happened. But the thing that changed, and kind of at the last minute, was that warmer air came in a little further north and got into places like Allen County and Barron County and Monroe County and all the counties east of Warren County and Bowling Green. And so some of that bad ice, half-inch or more ice, got into those areas and caused not quite an ice storm, but enough ice to knock out power. And some of those are still being restored. I hate it. But that's how things can change. And hopefully all of those folks that are still without power help prepare themselves before that ice storm or ice storm-like conditions hit. And you know what, though? When you get something that's that intense as far as ice, especially down in Nashville, which is just devastated. Nashville, you can't even recognize Nashville, those poor folks. Sometimes even all the preparation you can do cannot stop something like that. There was nothing that could stop all the trees from breaking down and the power lines. But the preparation came in, what if we do lose power? Do we have a backup generator? Do we have some place to go if we're without power for a week or more? And that's the way it's looking for those folks, Middle Tennessee. It's that bad. If you haven't seen the pictures, scroll through Facebook, you'll see them. It's pretty bad. So here is Peggy. My electric just came back on here in T-ville, Tompkinsville. Oh, Peggy, God bless you. Thank you. Golly. Think about that. And that's Tompkinsville, Monroe County, where they got a lot of ice damage there too. So everybody that's trying to get their power back on, God be with you. God be with all the line workers and the road workers and the tree trimmers. And man, those are your salt of the earth people right there. And if you're a line worker or a road worker or a tree worker or any worker that's been doing cleanup or helping these folks get back to normal, we have been praying for you. We have. We didn't just say that we were going to pray for you. We prayed for you. We had church here on Sunday during this podcast. And we actually prayed for you. So, yeah. All right. Here's one more. Josie, we're still out in Austin since 5 a.m. Sunday morning. Austin Tracy area, that's in Barron County. Whew. Maybe you're this close. Be patient. Be patient. I know it's tough. Nobody likes it. All right, you guys, thank you for watching tonight and listening. And I think this system this weekend, we're just going to get a brunt of it, a little swipe of it. We'll be on the north end of it. We'll get a little snow, but I don't think we're going to get much. If that changes, of course, I will let you know. In the meantime, I'll be on your TV, as always, in the morning, bright and early at 6 a.m. on News 40 Sunrise at 6. Then again, News 40 at 9 and News 40 at noon. Have a great evening, and I'll see you tomorrow.